Greetings, Hillsborough County. My name is C.J. Roberts, and I'm the President and CEO of the Tampa Bay History Center and the Chair of the Hillsborough Arts Council. This year, Hillsborough County is participating in a nationwide art and economic prosperity study to gather information about local nonprofit arts and cultural organizations. Now, if you're as passionate about the arts as I am, then you already know that a vibrant arts community helps local businesses thrive, invests in our county's economic well-being, and enhances overall quality of life. In order to show the impact the arts have on our community, we need your help. So if you're out and about at an arts event or a museum, you might be selected to take a quick, completely anonymous survey as part of this important study. Please consider participating in this survey, as it will help support the Hillsborough County arts community. The comprehensive data needed for this study is not possible without your help. So please take the survey and let's make art count.
You know what I like about my morning commute? It's time to reflect. Ponder those big questions. Who are we? Why are we here? Sometimes you just gotta take those bumps in the road and keep on moving forward.
Dude, you couldn't possibly be any more wrong. Stop the car.
That's deep. Like me. I can respect that.
Dude, it's a pothole. I could report it to Hillsborough County right now as a customer service request. Just choose your service and select the issue. Your browser pinpoints the problem, and you can add any important information and even take a picture.
It puts Hillsborough County at your service 24/7.
Well, all right.
Welcome to a meeting of your Planning Commission, the official local planning agency for the cities of Tampa, Temple Terrace, Plant City, and unincorporated Hillsborough County. The Planning Commission provides innovative leadership and long-range vision that contributes to the creation of a thriving, prosperous community that offers opportunity, fairness, and choice in how we live, move, learn, work, and play. For more information about the Planning Commission, please call 813-272-5940. Follow us on social media or visit our website at planhillsborough.org.
Welcome to the November 7th, 2022 regular meeting of the Hillsborough County City-County Planning Commission. We thank you for attending this meeting. Your comments and participation is encouraged. For those attending in person and wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign the register at the rear of the room and turn off any devices that may be a distraction. To minimize feedback in the audio, all online participants in the meeting will be muted until it is their opportunity to speak. Planning commissioners should unmute themselves to indicate that they would like to speak. Please be sure to state your name at the beginning of your remarks for the benefit of the clerk. There will be an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments. When your name is called, you will be unmuted when it is your turn to speak. Please wait until the chair calls on you to begin speaking. State your name at the beginning of your comments and adhere to the time limits. If anyone has difficulties or is watching via HTV and would like to provide comments to be included in the record for local government hearing, please email them to planner@plancom.org. That's PLANNER@plancom.org. For action items, the meeting will be conducted as follows. The agenda item will be introduced. Staff will give their presentation with a 15-minute time limit. The applicant will be given the opportunity to make a presentation with a 15-minute time limit. Following presentations, members of the public may address the Planning Commission when recognized by the chair. Public comment will be heard for 3 minutes per person. The applicant will be afforded a 3-minute period for rebuttal or response. Planning commissioners will ask questions. Public comment will be closed. Then upon a motion, a second, and discussion, a vote will be taken. With that introduction, I would like to ask Commissioner Louk to lead us in the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Would all please rise?
Heavenly Father, we come before you today with praise for your mighty power and guidance. We thank you for this day and thank you too for the many blessings in our lives, for our great country, and for the opportunity to live in freedom. We ask your blessings on our leaders, and we ask that you give each one of us here today the wisdom to make the right choices so that our decisions will be in the best interests of the people of Hillsborough County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Louk. All right. With that, I will actually switch over and request that the clerk do our swearing in. We have a newly appointed planning commissioner joining us. Commissioner Bryce Bowden is with us tonight for the first time. So at this point, I would like to ask the clerk to go ahead and do the swearing in so that Commissioner Bowden could be a part of the roll call to follow.
Good evening. If Commissioner Bowden could please stand and raise his right hand.
Okay.
And repeat after me. I, your name?
I, Bryce Bowden,
A planning commission appointee
a planning commission appointee
of Hillsborough County,
of Hillsborough County,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of my appointed office in a fair, equitable, ethical, and dignified manner, and in compliance with all applicable laws
and in compliance with all applicable laws
of the state of Florida, Hillsborough County, and the practices and procedures established by the Planning Commission.
established by the Planning Commission.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome aboard, Commissioner Bowden. Did you want to take a moment to tell us a little bit about yourself? Or?
Sure. As stated, my name is Bryce Bowden. I've been in Hillsborough County approximately 10 years. I moved here from Chicago. Prior to that, I worked for a Fortune 500 corporation and retired from that. Prior to that, I was in the military and retired from that as well. So as Tracy and I were just talking, I've had numerous positions in different fields of work. So I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to the opportunity after living in different states, cities, and everything. I think that I can help the county work with, try to prevent some of the things I've seen in other locations as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome aboard, Commissioner Bowden.
Thank you.
All right. And with that, I would like to ask the clerk to go ahead and do the roll call.
Good afternoon. Bernstein?
Here.
Bowden?
Yeah. Here.
Buzza? Buzza? Cardenas?
Here.
Fernandez?
Here.
Kress?
Here.
Andy? Andy? Louk?
Here.
Surya?
Here.
Orton?
Here.
Rodriguez?
Here.
Joseph?
Here.
Thank you. You have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. Our next item of business is the approval of the minutes for the following meetings. Regular meeting, September 12th, 2022. Public hearing on City Plan Amendment, September 12th, 2022. Public hearing on City of Tampa Plan Amendment, September 12th, 2022. Is there a motion to approve? Commissioner Bernstein.
So moved.
All right, that's a motion approved by Commissioner Bernstein. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Oh, Commissioner Fernandez, thank you. All right, a second to that motion to approve by Commissioner Bernstein was given by Commissioner Fernandez. Seeing no further discussion from the commissioners, I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Louk?
Yes.
Surya?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item up is number 2. Wait a minute. Yeah, number 2, election of officers. And the presenters are myself and Mr. Robin. Election time. Did you have any words of wisdom you wanted to add, Mr. Robin, before I take us way off course here?
No, I think everybody's pretty familiar with the process. It's fairly straightforward. Why don't you proceed with the nominations?
All righty, thank you. All right, at this time, I'll open it up to nominations for any of the categories, I guess. Does anybody have any nominations they wanted to put forth?
I'd suggest we start with the chairman's.
Chairman's, okay. All right. Any nominations for the chairman's seat? None? Yeah. Yeah, anything to add?
We have for clarification, we have for the audience, we do have statements of interest from various commissioners for different offices. And as I recall, for the office of chairman, Commissioner Joseph, our current chairman, is the only active member of the board who had expressed interest in that position, although we do have the opportunity for nominations from the floor at the meeting as well before you undertake a vote.
All right. Not seeing any nominations going once, going twice. Do we need to take a vote then, Tracy? Or
I think you're the chair by acclamation.
By default, yeah, okay. All right, thank you all. All right, we'll move on to the next position, vice chair. And We have interest in this position was, I guess, myself, who will be removed now. And then Commissioner Buzza had also signed up on the interest form. Were there any nominations from the floor at this time before? Well, I guess we don't need to vote if there's no nominations, but are there any nominations at this time for potential other vice chairs? Not seeing any. Then we will congratulate Commissioner Buzza, who is not here because he was the only one who showed interest in that position. So Commissioner Buzza will be our new vice chair. All right, next position, minus these two. Member at large, we had 3 commissioners sign up showing interest in this one: Commissioner Bernstein, Commissioner Soria, and Commissioner Kress. Before we take a vote on member at large, did anyone have any nominations? Yes, Commissioner Bernstein.
I don't have a nomination, Mr. Chair, but this time I'd like to withdraw my name from consideration for this position.
All righty. Minus Commissioner Bernstein. Was there any more nominations or requests for revisions? Not seeing any at this time, then we will have to take a vote between Commissioner Soria and Commissioner Kress on this one. So
You'll mark your ballots, please, and also put your name on the ballot so that we know who's voting, and I'll come around and collect those. Mr. Chairman, I have 7 ballots in favor of Commissioner Kress and 1 ballot in favor of Commissioner Soria by yourself.
Right.
So all the other votes were from the board were for Commissioner Kress.
all right, congratulations, Commissioner Kress. Still member at large. That seems like it. That's why I voted for Commissioner Soria. I was like, let somebody else get a chance, but you do a good job, so. All right. Next up, we have our MPO member, and the 2 individuals showing interest were myself and Commissioner Soria. Were there any more nominations or revisions at this time from anyone? Not seeing any. Then we will go ahead and take a vote for MPO member at this point in time.
Sorry, I had a ballot without a name on it. I had to figure out who it was. The votes are 5-3 in favor of Commissioner Soria, with Commissioners Joseph, Bernstein, and Cardenas voting for Commissioner Joseph.
Thank you. Congratulations, Commissioner Soria.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have our MPO alternate position. And we had 2 commissioners express interest in this. We had Commissioner Bernstein and Commissioner Kress.
And if Commissioner Bernstein is still willing, I'm happy to withdraw my name.
Appreciate it, yep. Still interested, thank you.
All right. Removing Commissioner Kress. Were there any nominations from the floor for anyone? Not seeing any. Then we will go on ahead and congratulate Commissioner Bernstein, our new MPO alternate. And I think that's all our elected positions. Now we have our committees and boards to fill. On these, we usually ask for volunteers. And for the Public Information Committee, I see we have Commissioner Kress. So did anyone else want to volunteer for the PIC? No? We'll congratulate Commissioner Kress. Welcome aboard the PIC committee. I, for one, am very happy to see you join the PIC committee. So just in case you didn't know. I told her to make you. I was like, Commissioner Kress needs to be on the PIC. So I'm glad to see you there. Congratulations. All right. For the Budget Committee, we had myself and Commissioner Buzza volunteer. So I can put both of us on there, can't I? Yeah. He can be the chair if he wants to. I don't, you know, we'll all be there. Oh, okay. Yeah, he'll be the chair. He'll be the chair of the Budget Committee.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing to just clarify for any new members that when we have these committee meetings, everyone gets invited. But like for the PIC, Karen would chair it, and we would have to make sure that she was there because she's the committee member. But everybody will get invited to any of the committee meetings.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have Buzzer chair the Budget Committee. Okay. Well, I have a good reason for that. You guys will see in a second here. The River TAC, we didn't have anyone volunteer for this one. Did anyone want to throw their name in the ring? It's the Hillsborough River Board, Technical Advisory Committee. No? All right, I'll put myself on there. Oh, you will? Okay, sweet. I'm glad you, Cardenas. Good. All right, Giovanni. All right, we have one more, the Hillsborough County Affordable Housing Advisory Board. Commissioner Powell used to go to that one also. He chaired that committee. Was there any interest?
I have an interest.
Yeah, Commissioner Bowden. Nice. All right, welcome aboard. Good man. All right. All right, Commissioner Bowden will chair our County Affordable Housing Committee. You can talk to Commissioner Garcia down there. He chairs the City Affordable Housing Committee. He's on that committee also. Doesn't chair, but he's on that committee for us also. Rodriguez, sorry. Rodriguez. Wrong Tony.
And I'm on the city's version of that committee, so I can kind of acclimate you to the county's board.
All right. And that is it for all our ad hoc boards and committees and our elected officers. So congratulations to everyone. Hold on, our attorney's whispering. Did I cover everything, Tracy? Okay. All right. Okay, so congratulations to everyone, chairs, officers, electeds. And we will move on to our next item of business. All right. Our third item of business is public input for items not on the agenda, and I don't believe we had anyone sign up in the room and no one signed up online for that. So we will move past that onto our action items for today. Our first action item is 4A, City of Plant City, 4-year 23 through 27 capital improvements element, schedule of projects update, and the presenter is Diego Guerra.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This item is the Planning Commission's review of the City of Plant Cities FY23 through FY27 capital improvements elements schedule of projects update. This is an action item and a resolution is provided for your vote. Chapter 163 requires that the schedule of projects or the list of projects addressing the levels of service and adopted in the comprehensive plan be updated on an annual basis. The update would replace the existing schedule of projects found in the comprehensive plan with the schedule found in your packets. City staff identified projects in the capital improvements program that affect levels of service. These items make up the schedule of projects. The update.
HTV, if you could show the PowerPoint.
Yes, I believe it needs to be switched down on the floor. We don't have any signal coming up yet.
Diego, you're called into service again.
Always breaking things.
I know. Oh, well, Lionel's here.
Can we check the bathroom?
Let me just press all these buttons. One of them will work. Press some buttons. I did press some buttons, so I don't know now.
Up here?
Oh, yeah.
That's all correct.
Oh, see? Look at that. I put them back.
We got something.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Chairman, we are double checking on the HTV side as well.
All right.
Supposed to be input HTV.
Diego, can you go forward just without the PowerPoint? Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Should we take a recess or something here, or?
I believe we are attempting to find a way to share it at the moment. It looks like it's an issue with our routing. It may take a few minutes, so if you want to take a short recess, that would be at your discretion.
If we go to a different agenda item, it's the same problem. They can't show it, so.
Yes, I believe so. We're attempting right now to see where the issue may be, but we are trying to fix it.
Okay.
Hey, Lionel, would the Elmo work if we printed stuff? Oh.
Lionel, it looks like we might be seeing it now. If you could make the switch down there.
We got the Elmo. Do it. All right. So what time is it? We're probably going to take a recess here for maybe 10 minutes to give them some time. Is that good enough, do you think, Lionel? They should have it done by then? Okay. All right. So it's 2:34 now. We'll give it a 10-minute recess and come back at 2:45, since it's probably at 2:35, and be back at 2:45. All right, welcome back, everyone. We should be ready to go now. We were on agenda item 4A, City of Plant City, 4-year 23, 4-year 27, capital improvements element schedule, project of updates, and the presenter was Diego Guerra.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon again. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This is the Planning Commission's review of Plant City's FY23 through FY27 capital improvements element schedule of projects. This is an action item and a resolution is provided for your vote. Chapter 163 requires that the schedule of projects, which is a list of projects that address levels of service and adopted in the comprehensive plan, be updated on an annual basis. The update would replace the existing schedule within the comprehensive plan with the schedule found in your packets. City staff identified projects within the capital improvement program that affect the levels of service, and it is these items that make up the schedule of projects. The update is accomplished by ordinance, which is permitted under Chapter 163. Additionally, the plans of other agencies are adopted by reference into the schedule through an existing policy in the capital improvement section or element. There are 4 main categories included in the schedule. They are streets, utilities, maintenance and operations, stormwater, and parks and recreation. The total 5-year funding amount for these projects is approximately $49.22 million. The Planning Commission staff also examined the schedule with respect to the goals, objectives, and policies found in the comprehensive plan. A few of these policies are identified here with a full list of policies identified in the staff report within your packets. The schedule is consistent with Capital Improvements Policy 1.1.14, which states that top priority for funding is for repairs or replacement of obsolete or worn out facilities. And of note, all the projects within the schedule meet this description. The schedule is consistent with policies requiring coordination with the water supply facility work plan, and the schedule furthers the intent of infrastructure sub-elements, which includes language that states to provide quality infrastructure and services to residents and enhancing transportation options. Ladies and gentlemen, Planning Commission staff recommends that the FY23 through FY27 capital improvement element schedule of projects update be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Imagine 2040 Plant City Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. I am available for any questions.
All right, we didn't have anyone, there was no other presentation, just to check. Okay. We didn't have anyone sign up in the public comment for this item, so I will turn it over to the planning commissioners for comments or questions on this item. Not seeing any at this time, we'll go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find Plant City's proposed fiscal year 2023 to 2027 CIE schedule consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Imagine 2040 Plant City Comprehensive Plan, and that we forward that recommendation along to the Plant City Commission.
All right. Commissioner Louk?
Second.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Louk. Any more discussions, comments, questions from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Louk?
Yes.
Surya?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item of business is 4B, City of Temple Terrace, 4-year 23 through 4-year 27 capital improvements section, schedule of project updates, and the presenter is Diego Guerra again.
Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Diego Guerra, Planning Commission staff. This item is the Planning Commission's review of the City of Temple Terrace's FY23 through FY27 capital improvements section, schedule of projects update. This is an action item, and a resolution is provided for your vote. This is a routine annual update that is required per Chapter 163 of Florida statutes. The review was conducted in accordance with Chapter 163. which requires that the schedule be updated on an annual basis. The update would replace the existing schedule of projects with the schedule listed in your packets. The update is accomplished by ordinance per Chapter 163. Additionally, plans of other agencies are adopted by reference into the schedule through an existing policy in the capital improvements section. No, maybe. Too far, sorry. The city and planning commission staff worked together to identify projects in the capital improvements program that affected levels of service. City identified whether those projects eliminate a deficiency, maintain a level of service, or were planned for future growth. Per the comprehensive plan, the list of the 10-year transportation projects be incorporated as part of the schedule of projects for those portions that were city projects within the first 5 years and specifically affected levels of service. Those were included in the report analysis and analysis in this presentation. Depicted on this slide is a summary of the scheduled projects by program area. As you can see, there are 6 program areas which were identified, which consist of 117 projects for a total amount of $38.19 million for the FY23 through FY27 timeframe. Depicted on this slide is a summary of this, in terms of levels of service priorities, the majority of the projects funding are for repair, replace, and renovation to maintain levels of service. The remainder of the funding is intended to eliminate deficiencies and future growth, and I'll discuss on the next slide how it fits within the comp plan on the Planning Commission staff examined the schedule with respect to the goals, objectives, and policies in the comprehensive plan. A few of the policies are identified on the slide. However, a full list is provided in your packets. First, the schedule is consistent with direction for the levels of service priorities, which states that they should be for repair or replacement of facilities to eliminate deficiencies or plan for future growth. Secondly, the schedule is consistent with the funding criteria identified in the comprehensive plan, both in terms of revenue and timing. Additionally, the schedule projects further several of the infrastructure sub-elements, including providing quality infrastructure and services to residents and enhancing transportation options as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Planning Commission staff recommend the Planning Commission find the FY23 through FY27 schedule of projects consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Temple Terrace Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you. We didn't have anyone sign up in the public comment for this item either, so we will turn it over to commissioners, and I see Commissioner Kress. Nope, false alarm. All right. Any other comments or questions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any, then we'll open it up. We'll close the public comment at this time and open the floor up to motions. Commissioner Fernandez.
I'd like to find the Temple Terrace fiscal year 23, or I'd like the motion to find Temple Terrace fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 27 capital improvement section schedule of projects consistent with the Imagine 2040 Temple Terrace comprehensive plan, and recommend that to the Temple Terrace City Council.
Thank you. Is there a second to Commissioner Fernandez's motion? Commissioner Soria.
I will second the motion.
All right. We have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Fernandez, a second to that motion by Commissioner Soria. Are there any comments or discussion from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any, I'll ask that the clerk do a roll call vote at this time on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Louk?
Yes.
Soria?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Next up, we have 4C, Section 27-60, Land Development Code Text Amendment, Alternative Design Exception Noticing, and the presenter is Emily Phelan.
Good afternoon. Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff, presenting on Land Development Code text amendment regarding alternative design exception noticing. A background for this, it was part of the July 2022 cycle, and it is a publicly initiated amendment. The request proposes to seek amendment to amend section 2760, and that requires public notice for any alternative design exception requesting a reduction in the required setback. And it also seeks to, the language would also seek to apply to alternative design exceptions 1 and alternative design exceptions 2. The Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found the amendment ensures that municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods by reviewing all land development regulations. And based on these considerations, Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed land development code text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. This concludes my presentation, and I will turn it over to city staff.
Good afternoon, Eric Cotton, our City of Tampa Development Coordination. Just to do a quick summary, I think I've only covered everything, but as of right now in the code, design exceptions 2, which are like our administrative variances that take place outside of any of the city's overlay districts and special districts, require notice. What this amendment is doing, design exception 1, which is the process that you go through when you're in an overlay district, is to require those same kinds of notices that are not required right now. When this was adopted in 2010, notice wasn't required. We're finally catching up and requiring notice for everywhere in the city when somebody's doing an administrative variance, but an administrative waiver of the setbacks to require notice. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. We did have someone sign up for public comment on this item. So let me go to my handy dandy list here. There's a lot of people who signed up for public comment. Maybe not. They have that they just want to attend and listen, but I'm going to try anyway. Mary Jo Shank? No? Going once, going twice? All right. That was the only person we had mentioned this one in public comment, so we'll move on at this point in time and close the public comment. Oh, sorry, open it up to the commissioners for comments and questions on this item. Are there any? Nope. Not seeing. Yes, Commissioner Louk.
Quick question for maybe City of Tampa staff. What's the driver behind this? So the way I understand it is we're not currently requiring notice in certain instances depending upon where you're developing. So it says we're streamlining the process. It sounds like we're adding more notice.
Well, this is
circumstances. So
sorry.
I may just be misunderstanding.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's necessarily for streamlining. This is actually to bring it consistent with the other process. Right now, if you're like in Seminole Heights and I live next door to you, I can ask for a waiver to the required setback. You'll never know about it until such time construction starts and you're like, hey, well, how'd that happen? So this is an effort to bring that into compliance so all the different waivers are consistent across the board, more for transparency and consistency across the code.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Are there any more comments from the commissioners? Questions? Not seeing any at this time, then I will go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Commissioner Louk.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move at this time we find the proposed LDC text amendment relating to the alternate design exceptions, noticing development standards consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and forward this recommendation to the Tampa City Council.
All right, we have a motion of consistency found by Commissioner Louk. Is there a second to that motion anywhere out there?
Second.
Commissioner Fernandez. All right, we have a motion of consistency found by Commissioner Louk. A second to that motion by Commissioner Fernandez. Sorry, is there any more discussion? Is there any more discussion or comments from the commissioners on this item? Not seeing any at this time. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Louk?
Yes.
Zaria?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right, our next item up for action is 4D, Section 27-20, Section 27-283.12J, Land Development Code Text Amendment Off-Street Parking Space Standards, and the presenter is Danny Collins.
Good afternoon. This is Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. This is Tampa Land Development Code Text Amendment related to off-street parking space standards. Just a quick background. This is part of the July 2022 cycle of LDC text amendments for the city. This is a publicly initiated amendment. The amendment seeks the following changes. The amendment adds language related to off-street parking for non-residential uses. Specifically, the amendment would allow access to a local roadway if access is within 150 feet from an intersection of an arterial or collector roadway. The Planning Commission's staff reviewed the request and found it consistent with a number of policies in the comprehensive plan. The plan seeks to reduce the presence of vehicles on site by allowing off-street parking where appropriate in the urban setting. Additionally, the plan also encourages the development of regulations that discourage service parking and freestanding parking garages. The request supports these policies because it will allow greater flexibility to design sites with regard to parking and design during the development review process. And finally, the request continues to streamline the development review process and ensure municipal codes remain sensitive to the changing trends and needs of Tampa's neighborhoods. Based on those considerations, the Planning Commission staff recommends that the proposed LDC text amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. That concludes my presentation. I'll turn it over to the city staff.
Eric Kahn, City of Tampa. I don't know what it was called.
No, that
one. Let me forward this. Let me get to. This was initiated by. What's going on here? Yeah, so I'm not the most technologically skilled individual here.
You can just click it.
Oh, here? Oh, okay, there you go. Well, okay, let me get to this. So this was the, this is the proposed change. Again, Eric Cotton, City of Tampa. This is a typical waiver that's requested through the plan development process, which is to give access onto a local street. What we're proposing is currently in the Seminole Heights District regulations. So it's basically just saying if you're within 150 feet of an arterial collector road, you can get access onto the local street. This is an example. This is the Tahitian Inn and Chick-fil-A site on Del Mabry. Both of these are zone plan development. They both went through a PD process to both get the waivers to the access onto the local street. Both of these, both entrances here, here and here, as well as the entrance they have on Del Mabry, are all were approved by City Council. They're both within 150 feet. This would give that ability by right, instead of having to go strictly through the PD process to get that. It also furthers the Vision Zero concept for the City of Tampa. When this was first presented to City Council back in July of 2023, or excuse me, June of 2022, Vic Beatty from Ability basically stressed that it's safer for people to go out onto a local street than make the turn onto a major roadway than it is to pull from a stop directly onto, like in this case, onto Del Mabry from the development that they're using. So that's the basis for the request. This is a staff-initiated request. Any questions? Staff? Okay, thank you.
All right. Let me double check to see if, I don't believe we had anyone sign up on this, but I'm just gonna double check. We did? Oh, okay. Susan, we do have a public commenter. Susan Swift.
Thank you, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman. My name is Susan Swift. I'm an AICP certified planner, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a resident, homeowner, and planner in the City of Tampa. You'll hear me on another item. There are several text amendments the city has initiated recently that I think are troubling to neighborhoods and are having negative impacts on neighborhoods in the name of streamlining development. And for those of you who don't know me, I was the director for the City of Tampa Zoning Department and streamlined the whole process many moons ago. So I'm all in favor of streamlining, but not at the detriment of our neighborhoods. Unless I'm misunderstanding, I think this applies citywide. True? Yeah. And there's actually only one line that's being changed, but I'd like to read you the section. So the line being changed is access is no further than 150 feet from an arterial and collector intersection. But the title of that section is non-residential parking lots and garages shall be designed to minimize impact to residential neighborhoods. And there are several conditions. So you can't, if there's a collector arterial, this isn't really a parking thing, this is an access change. So right now you're supposed to access onto an arterial or collector if there is one there. This section, as already written, already says if the property fronts only on a local street, then obviously you can access on a local street. It has several other things, but the other one says, C says, access to all adjacent arterial collector streets is or are prohibited by FDOT. If they're not going to allow you to do that, then obviously you need another way to do it. This is already built into the code. The only thing this is doing is saying, okay, Mr. Developer with a garage or Mr. Business or Mr. Trader Joe's, the only thing this is doing is changing something that the neighborhood should be looking at through a PD or some shorter process, if there's another process. But this is allowing everybody by right who's building, who should be doing their driveways on a collector arterial, to do it on a local street in a residential area where they really shouldn't be. And I respectfully request that you recommend denial of this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That was the only member of the public we had sign up for public comment on this item. So I will give the applicant an opportunity to provide some comments or response. 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, Stephen Benson, City of Tampa Planning. I think for those of you that I know already, you know that before I was in this position, I worked for FDOT and I was the bicycle pedestrian coordinator for FDOT for several years. And I just wanted to provide some background on what this is actually doing. So the City of Tampa is a Vision Zero city. We have embraced the concept of having zero fatalities and serious injuries on our streets. Part and parcel to that involves actually researching and digging into the data behind what actually produces fatal and severe injuries. One of those major contributing factors is speed and is major high-speed roadways. That is why DOT actually prohibits and discourages more driveways going onto their streets. So the purpose of this amendment is to be proactive and to say that we acknowledge that adding additional driveways on roads that you can think of like Del Mabry, Fowler, Fletcher, where there's just driveways every 5-10 feet, that is what's contributing to those roads being on these high crash lists. There are absolutely no local roads in the City of Tampa on our top 10 Vision Zero corridors list. Every single one of those corridors are commercial, high-speed arterials and collectors. And again, one of those factors is because of the continuous proliferation of driveways on these streets. So there is a engineering reason behind this amendment that supports it, and it is consistent with our Vision Zero goal citywide. And I just wanted to provide that clarification for you all so that you knew there was a technical analysis behind it. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now we will turn it over to our commissioners for discussions or questions, comments on this item. Not seeing any. I'll get it started then, because I was wondering where the 150-foot measurement comes from.
Eric Cotton, City of Tampa. That's currently in the code, like I was saying, under the Seminole Heights District. That was developed in that one. That was adopted back in 2010. So we've basically used that same language. It's, as you look at commercial developments, most lots in the city are not overly deep. You know, you're on the commercial corridor, you go back 200, 250 feet, and then you're to a residential district. The 150 feet puts it in more of, across the street is still a commercial use. So you're not getting into the neighborhood itself by limiting it to the 150. That's where that logic came from.
Why not smaller? Why not 75?
That's probably more of an engineering answer. I believe it has to do more with, I don't have it direct. It probably has to do more with
because you can't be 50 feet, because that's too close.
Well,
So
I
if
said
there's-
75.
So if there's queuing, that's why. It's just to provide a reasonable distance, that's all. And the 150 speaks to the fact that a lot of the RTLs and collectors, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them have 100 to 150 foot depths for that parcel that fronts the major road. So when they're 150 feet deep or 100 feet deep, it gives them enough room so that the back half of their parcel can actually have the access. But there's a 50-foot prohibition right now in the code. So we tried to get beyond 50, but not so far back that we're letting people connect in when it's so far deep into the neighborhood that there's maybe another cross street further down, and it's going to promote people cutting through the neighborhood. So it's just trying to find a reasonable balance.
Oh, sorry, there's more. Yes, Commissioner Fernandez, sorry.
Yeah, speaking about the 75 feet, I think 150 is appropriate. I even maybe think 200, because I don't know if anybody's almost hit a Chick-fil-A line sticking out in the middle of the road. I mean, that's becoming a problem all over the city where there's 30 cars wrapped around and they're on the main arterial now. So I just think it's a good distance.
Thank you. Commissioner Orton.
It sounds like we're getting into the residential with 150 feet, and then that makes it dangerous for the local roads, for the, city and county local roads, when you have, 150 feet.
Good point, Commissioner Orton. You want to respond?
Eric
to that?
Cotton, City of Tampa. The 150 feet on most of the roads where this will take place, such as Dale Mabry, the depth for those commercial lots is greater than the 150. So you're not going to have that conflict. Across the street will normally still be commercial uses. On some of the other ones, like Stephen was indicating, along Florida, most of those are about 100, 150 feet deep. That's already in the code for like the Seminole Heights districts. So we're just trying to limit the immediate, somebody sitting and coming right onto the commercial corridors. The 150 gives you a chance to actually pull out, get yourself situated onto that local road before turning onto the main street.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've been at some of these intersections, and you are traveling onto a local road, which is maybe 20 feet wide, and then you have a pileup of cars trying to get onto the arterial road, and then that also becomes a hazard. So I don't think that's a good number there for.
Okay.
Did you want to respond or? No?
No,
Okay.
just
Mr. Ornita, thank you, Commissioner Orton.
I was just going to point out that in the existing code, there are already 4 standards by which access to a local road could be considered. This is just adding a 5th one. So the others include the property fronts only on a local street. Of course, they're going to get access because that's their only access. Access to all adjacent arterial or collector streets is R/R discouraged or rendered impracticable by other provisions of the Tampa City Code. Access to all arterial or collector streets are prohibited by the Florida DOT or another government entity, or no residentially zoned property exists on the affected segment of the local street. That one's a little bit longer, but my point simply being that this is not the only way that somebody could get access to a local street. So it is already contemplated in the code that access to the local street could occur.
Thank you. there any more questions or comments, discussion on the item?
I'll just briefly chime in that I know that the city of Tampa is taking safety and the Vision Zero City commitment very seriously, and the fact that they used a data-based approach to come up with these measurements and conclusions gives me comfort that it's the right move at the right time.
Thank you. I was wondering, have you all in the city of Tampa looked at all the possible locations that this could happen at, and what is the nature of that amount of potential?
No, this was as Vic kind of Eric mentioned earlier, that this was something that the mobility department did look at, the professional engineers, and they did support, and that was, you know, knowing that this was a citywide change. So we didn't specifically look at this only type of scenario that, like the one that Eric provided. It was vetted from the engineers.
Let me ask you a question, Mr. Benson.
Sure.
The assumption is that commercial users and vehicles will turn out onto the lower street and use a lower street to get to the higher speed street. What if they start going at higher speeds through the residential areas? I've seen that happen a lot. I grew up in Carrollwood, where we have a lot of these driveways that come out the side right into a residential neighborhood, and what happens is people turn right or the other way and right past the sign, and voop, they're right into the residential area going fast. What about that? Do we have any thoughts to that or protecting against that? Is there a signage program that we're thinking? And these aren't really are, but you know, I'm just trying to think through this process here, because I understand what you're saying. We want to slow down and get cars off the main streets. That leads to less crashes, but we don't want to then take them and put them where kids are playing hopscotch necessarily. So I think that's Commissioner Orton's point, and we're trying to find a balance in between there. So hearing you say that there was some thought about that might be helpful. So I'm just wondering what response you might have to that, the people who turn the other way and go speeding through the neighborhood.
Sure, we acknowledge that it is counterintuitive, right? Because you would think creating more opportunities for cars to be on local streets is going to create a problem and not remove the problem. The issue is, however, that there are way more people walking on Del Mabry, on Fletcher, on Fowler, on that sidewalk that you see. I don't know if I can bring the presentation back up, but there are way more people walking on Del Mabry. Those are where our volumes are. And so it's not that we're saying that accessing the residential street is better. It's that if we have to give them an access point, we would prefer to give them the access point of an access point that's on a local street, because it essentially functions as an extension of the driveway. Whereas if you're on the major road, it's not just a matter of getting out, it's also getting in. Because, and this happens at Chick-fil-A all the time, if you get one person stacked there waiting to turn out, people coming in from Del Mabry can't necessarily fit, or they're coming in so fast that they slam on their brakes, and then you get rear ends on Del Mabry. So it's having to balance the risks. And unfortunately, the risks on a 55 mile per hour posted road are much, much, much higher than the risks on the road that's posted at a lower speed. It kind of goes back to, again, we're trying to prevent fatal and severe injury. We're not saying we want crashes on local streets, but the vehicles have to go somewhere, and we all still generally drive everywhere. And that's just part of weighing those risks and trying to shift it to the location where it has less risk, but not no risk at all.
Okay. Commissioner Ward?
I don't know if this is something I should throw out. I just came from Polk County about 6 months ago, working off of 27, and everyone's familiar with that road. And the reason why DOT pushed something similar to this is they wouldn't hand out any more permits for people to access 27. Is that the same reason you guys aren't giving any more permits off of these roads?
No, part of the issue is that if you have an existing driveway and you come in, they have to let you keep it. And since we don't allow it, that's the option. So we have the driveways where the property is being redeveloped, but they get to put the driveway back, and we're like, why? It's because the code actually doesn't allow us to give them access on the local street at all. So we're trying to kind of bring it all into alignment. DOT has had that access management policy there for many, many years. It's just we haven't really known how to deal with it from a local standpoint. But again, you will see rezoning after rezoning come through where council is giving them the access on the local street because they figured out how to mitigate for it. And so that's kind of part of the reason why Eric is here is If council is giving them a waiver during the hearing, why is it still in the code? That's a question that we're going to keep asking. So you'll see us keep coming up here with these amendments that you're like, why are we doing this? It's because council keeps granting the waiver. So.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Bowden.
The question I have you considered, because thinking about them making a right turn into the community, you ever think about signage, say no right turn?
That is addressed during the process. It doesn't always work because people, have to obey the sign. I mean, they put little separators in there to try to get you to turn towards the major road. But again, that's why we're saying we only want to allow this up to 150, because the further away you get from the major street, the more tempting it is to turn left to get out. So it's a balance. But the signage is an easy thing that's addressed during the development review process. But enforcing it is difficult because chances are the signage is on private property, and local law enforcement doesn't enforce private property like parking lot signs. And since it's on the private property, it would be their responsibility.
Well, I'm just thinking about, you would get about 90% of the people that would actually obey the sign, so
Yes.
that would minimize that risk.
There are several other locations on Del Mabry where they did prohibit the right out, but for whatever reason, they must have come and justified why this shouldn't have the no right, because they obviously got it approved.
Thank you. Commissioner Surratt.
I had a question regarding the local road you mentioned. So is the local road controlled by a traffic sign in that case? Because if it's a stop sign, isn't it similar to having direct access to the main road where you're trying to like speed up for oncoming traffic? Because unless there's a traffic light, you would not slow down. Because Dale Mabry is one of the highest accidents for motorcycles as well.
Yeah, you mean the intersection of the local road and the arterial?
Yes.
Yes, so that's part of the logic is if you consolidate access points and there's less opportunity for conflict, the logic is that people will be anticipating the volume coming out of Dale and not necessarily out of the driveways in between Dale and the next street.
Okay.
So that's just access management, the philosophy behind it, why they push people to the side streets. Because then eventually over time, depending upon what happens, if you're at an area that has a lot more development, then the intersection will become signalized.
Yeah.
But if you don't allow people to use the side street like the grid was intended to function, you get driveways everywhere, and then you get like a Fowler kind of a situation.
Agreed. Okay. And would it also put any kind of restriction for the commercial properties to develop direct access, or that would still exist?
Direct access to the arterial?
To the main road.
Well, this is only if they're on a corner, I believe.
Okay.
Like if they front both. Like if they're in the middle of the block, they wouldn't have access to the side street.
All right.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I had another question. And this is a by right thing, right? So they're going to be able to, the property owner would be able to just do this without having to deal with city council and.
Correct. Eric Cotton, City of Tampa, they would not have to go through the plan development process.
Okay.
They would be able to come in and go straight into permitting. For the example of the Chick-fil-A and the Tahitian, and they'd be able to go right to permitting, assuming they don't need any other kind of waivers or such for the development.
Right. How many, because Mr. Benson, you had said that the city council waives a lot of these things a lot. How many have they not, what's the number waived to not waive?
When we did a study, I don't believe they ever denied the access onto Temple Street.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any more questions, comments, or discussions from the commissioners on this item? Yes, Commissioner
I'll just put in a
Kress.
little plug for sidewalks. People could walk to these places and might solve the world's problems.
Thank you, Commissioner Kress. All right. Any more comments or questions from the commissioners on this item? Seeing none, I will then go on ahead and close the public comment on this item. And I will open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item. Don't all jump at once now. Commissioner Bernstein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I would move that we find the LDC text amendment to section 27-283.112J pertaining to off-street parking space standards consistent with the goals, policies, and objectives of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and that we forward that recommendation to the Tampa City Council.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Louk.
Second.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Bernstein, a second to that motion by Commissioner Louk. Are there any more comments or questions or statements from the commissioners? Seeing none, I will ask the clerk to go on ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes.
Louk?
Yes.
Soria?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. Thank you for the information and the presentation. On to our next item of business is action item 4E, Section 27 of the Land Development Code Text Amendment, Tampa Heights Overlay District Development Standards, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have an email from LaShawn Dock and Brian Steele with the Tampa Heights Association requesting a continuance of this until January. Some things have come up with the board regarding the language, and they'd like to conduct additional outreach and bring back revised language at that time.
All right, do we have to motion and vote on all that, Tracy, or is it just administrative? Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, well, moving on to our next agenda item, 4F, Section 27290 Land Development Code Text Amendment, Accessory Dwelling Units and Accessory Structures, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone again. Oh, that was the same one, withdrawn, both of them? Okay. All right, on to 4G, Section, is this one withdrawn? No, okay. 4G, Section 27181.2 Land Development Code Text Amendment, Central Business District Design District Review, DDR, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Jennifer Malone with your Planning Commission. I come before you today humbled because I did not prepare a PowerPoint presentation for this with a lot going on tonight and getting ready for that, so I sincerely apologize. But the Planning Commission did find this consistent with the comprehensive plan. This is going to put design district guidelines in the code for downtown. So there, right now, it's a little bit of an administrative process, and it's just not codified. And so this is just going to continue to streamline development review. There's also multiple policies in the comprehensive plan regarding an excellence of design in downtown. And so that is what this is going to be doing, and I will turn it over to city staff.
Eric Cotton, City of Tampa. The DDR process, the Design District Review process, was actually initiated about 5 or 6 years ago. It's been an administrative process, but it has never been codified. So this text amendment is actually codifying the process we've already been using to review major projects in downtown. It only applies to the Central Business District. Any questions?
All right, hang on for just a second. I don't think we have anyone sign up for comments on this one. So we will turn it over to the planning commissioners for questions or comments on this item. Not seeing any at this time. I will go on ahead and close the public comment on this item and open it up to motions from the commissioners on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that we find the proposed LDC text amendment relative to district design review consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan and forward this to the recommendation to the Tampa City Council.
All right, motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Louk. Commissioner Soria.
I will second the motion.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Louk, a second to that motion by Commissioner Soria. Any comments or statements by the commissioners? Not seeing any. I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Buzza? Excuse me. Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
Yes.
Louk,
Yes.
Surya,
Yes.
Joseph.
Yes.
Motion carried 8-0.
Thank you. All right. Our next item up on the agenda is 4H, Section 27-43, Section 27-156, Section 27-283.7, Section 27-211-8, Land Development Code Text Amendment, ADU definition, permitted areas, number of off-street parking spaces, and the presenter is, drumroll, Sam Thomas.
Good afternoon, Sam Thomas with your Planning Commission staff. This is Land Development Code Text Amendment regarding accessory dwelling units, their definition, permitted areas, and the number of off-street parking spaces required for them. Some background on this: it was publicly initiated in July 2022. And the request seeks to define accessory dwelling units, modify the area accessory dwelling units are permitted, and to establish the number of off-street parking spaces required for accessory dwelling units. Planning Commission staff reviewed the request and found it consistent with multiple aspects of the comprehensive plan. It allows greater flexibility to develop accessory dwelling units and furthers the intent of the comprehensive plan as it supports expanding rental housing opportunities and enabling people who are aging in place to remain in their neighborhoods. Additionally, increases housing opportunities and promotes a mixed income neighborhoods and encourages infill development and promotes a housing pattern consistent with the compact city form. Then lastly, it further streamlines the development review process and ensures that the code remains sensitive to the changing needs in Tampa's neighborhoods. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions, and city staff is available as well.
I can pull up other people's PowerPoints, but not have one of my own.
Here we go. Eric Cotton, Development, our City of Tampa. First is, we use the term accessory dwelling unit in our code. It was actually, they're allowed right now in the Seminole Heights zoning districts, but nowhere do we define it. So in chapter 20, section 2743 is the definitions for chapter 27. So this, the definition, as you can see, a dwelling unit, accessory dwelling unit that serves as an accessory use to a principal use, is language that's adopted from the Florida statutes. That was pulled, that was go, you'll see that back again in December. 27-156 is where these are gonna be allowed. When we discussed this with City Council, the discussion basically centered on allowing them by right in the Central Tampa, the West Shore and the University Planning Districts. ADUs would be allowed by right. That would exclude the South Tampa Planning District and the New Tampa Planning District. Right now, in the code, they're allowed as a special use one in 2 locations. One out by Lowry Park Central, which was the result of a privately initiated text amendment back in 2003, 2004 timeframe. And the other one is in the Seminole Heights zoning districts, which you can see in the purple. And then you see at the bottom down south of the river is the NMU districts. Where we're proposing again is in those 3 districts, the USF, West Shore, and Central Planning Districts. And we had a lot of discussion internally on parking requirements for ADUs, whether we should require them, we should not require them. And it turned out we came up with, if they're 600 square feet or less, or 599 square feet or less, we would not require them to provide off-street parking. If they're more than 600 square feet or larger, then we would require them to have off-street parking. That was an internal discussion. And then, that's the end of the presentation. I know there's an individual here to discuss it. Does the Planning Commission have any questions for us, for staff?
Was there any more of the presentation left to go, Mr. Benson?
No, sir.
Okay. You'll have to hang out for questions for a little. We have public comment first.
Okay.
Give the public an opportunity to make their statements. Did you have something to say?
I
to the
just wanted to
presentation?
provide a little bit of background, if that's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
To support Eric's presentation. Stephen Benson, City of Tampa. So the staff was asked by council to take a look at ADUs and propose some changes to the code. We started off by talking to 3 cities. We talked to the city of Orlando, we talked to the city of St. Petersburg, and then we also talked to the city of Long Beach in California to get a sense from them, based upon their experience with ADUs, how it's working, what were the lessons learned, what should we be looking at. And then with that information, we put a survey out to the community in May. We got 1,000 responses in like record timing. It was like lightning fast. There was tons of feedback. And what we took away from that is about a third of those responses were individuals that live in areas where ADUs were not allowed, that were questioning our existing code and why we limit it to the 4%, that's a single digit 4% of the city where it's currently allowed. There's no rationale or rhyme or reason as to why those areas get it, but other areas don't. So that's why we're proposing expanding the areas that we are. About a third of the responses, in addition to that, were individuals that live in the South Tampa area that were expressing concerns about being in the coastal high hazard area, concerns about evacuation, and concerns about growth and overdevelopment. And the language in the comprehensive plan regarding planning districts speaks to the South Tampa Planning District and the New Tampa Planning District as being areas that are not suitable for additional growth. And that is one of the reasons why those areas were not included as a logical next step to expand ADUs into. And then the other third of the feedback that we got in the survey were individuals that live in areas where ADUs are currently permitted, telling us that even though it's allowed, they have either looked at the code or they've come in to talk to zoning or they've talked to a builder, and it physically is not possible on their site because of all the other regulations that we have in place, limiting height, limiting setbacks, limiting parking. And so all three of those inputs have led us to propose the expansion of the allowable areas to address parking for specifically small ADUs, and also to propose some measures for code relief to the height and the setback limitations. The height and the setback limitations we brought forward to the public information meeting that we held last month, and there were a lot of concerns about increasing the allowable height and the allowable setbacks for accessory structures. So staff made the decision to pull that from this code package. So that was the item that was withdrawn for you today. That was based upon public input. And I think that's all. But happy to answer any questions about any of the specifics and the numbers that were proposed and how we got there. So thank you.
Thanks. We will have got a couple members of the public sign up for public comment on this item. So we will start with Ms. Swift, who is here. So.
I'm happy to go last. Thank you very much. My name is Susan Swift, AICP. Again, I'm speaking as a resident homeowner and a planner. And I'm very familiar with the city's code since most of it still exists as I wrote it. So I'm here to say that this is a great concept, but not as written. And I would like to point out, and I'll probably go long and you can cut me off, but I think I have some really good specifics for you. As written, it's not, it's beyond concept, and how it's applied on the ground is going to have a lot of unintended consequences that will hurt neighborhoods. It is not enforceable there, and I'll get to that. So, and you'll hear me for not, I'm only here because I think this is very comp plan related. But there are a lot of text amendments that are being proposed to streamline development, and I'm all in favor of that, but again, not at the expense of neighborhoods, at whether they're single family or not single family, neighborhoods and residential areas. And I think this is, as written, one of the biggest negative impacts on neighborhoods. So I'll get to some of my points. As you heard, this is expanding it so that it's not a special use anymore. They'll be permitted, I actually think they're appropriate on many lots in many locations, in many neighborhoods. But again, just because the council has waived things doesn't mean that neighborhoods and residents should not have input. And all of these text amendments are removing the ability for individual residents, homeowners, and neighborhoods to opine on a specific location, and how they're making them all by right. So I'll get to I had David Letterman's top 10, but I went way longer than the top 10. So here are just some of the reasons. First, how can it be consistent with the land use plan as it says in the staff report when it doubles the density in a quarter of the city? That you are planning commissioners, and to me, I don't understand why this can get beyond, I mean, I know the procedure that it goes back to council, but this is the biggest land use issue that probably has come before you in a long time. It's a huge policy change. You should request that the council bump this to your plan update. That's what the plan update is for. What happened to compatibility and protecting neighborhoods? I counted 16 other policies that were not listed in the staff report that specifically mentioned compatibility and neighborhood compatibility and residential compatibility. It allows accessory units in many zones, single-family zones, without any review for compatibility at that location. One of the earlier drafts, I understand that the conditions that we saw just a couple of weeks ago at council are now in a separate ordinance that isn't moving with this, which frankly makes me more opposed to it, because there were things in there that said they could be in non-conforming structures. So not only if I'm living next door to Mr. Non-conforming garage that I've been waiting for my neighbor to, remove for 30 years, now he's going to be able to rent it as an ADU and make money off of it. So now the non-conforming structure is never going to go away. Impervious surfaces and floor.
Ms. Swift, we have to ask you to wrap it up here pretty quick. Turn your mic back on when you start again, but we'll have to ask you to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you.
All the things that you can make your lot almost 100% impervious, and pervious, and there's no enforcement. The section on who can live in these, two unrelated individuals. I've actually been in court as the planning director in a Maryland community where we were in court multiple times because you can have related individuals and unrelated individuals. And I don't know how you stand by the door and get how people are related or unrelated. And I have lots of other reasons, but finally do the math. It's $110 a square foot to build, per square foot to build a new unit. Who's going to be able to have an affordable dwelling if they've spent $100,000 to build this 1,000 square foot unit in their backyard or next to them? And this is not for homeowners to build new units. This is for developers. It doesn't limit people to mom and pop. This is a developer's cramming basically duplexes throughout the city and doubling the density. And that's where I think you all really should weigh in. And I respectfully request that you recommend denial on this, and I really appreciate your time and the extra time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Swift. All right, we did have one other person sign up, but they are clearly not in this room, and I don't see Carol Ann Bennett on the WebEx. So just make one more look and double check that there was not anyone else sign up for this one. No, I will turn it over now to the applicant for any response.
Eric Cotton, City of Tampa. A lot of the things Ms. Swift has talked about, we did discuss internally. Some things, right now the city has two different processes. We have an extended family residence, which is allowed anywhere in the city. as a special use one that is for a family member to live in. And when they submit that document, when they submit for that application, they submit an affidavit attesting to the relationship between the person in the main structure and the person in the accessory structure. And they also present evidence showing that relationship. So maybe birth certificate, marriage certificates, whatever they would have to show that relationship. The ADUs, the original draft of the language did require, I mean, that's coming next month, so I'm actually not going to talk about that issue. We'll be bringing that language back in December. Regarding the pervious and impervious, that's all related to when they go through time of permitting, like any other structure or any other development on a city lot, a city piece of property. As they go through permitting, they have to show stormwater retention. You can increase the flow off what's on the property now. If there's a half inch coming, if you retain a half inch, you have to retain a half inch. It's the same, regardless of what the development is, whether it's an ADU or an expansion of your property. Actually, I wasn't taking notes when Ms. Swift was talking, so I'm not sure there's other issues the Planning Commission wants to discuss or ask about.
We'll get to commissioner comments in
Okay.
a moment, but I mean, this is your response, so if you wanted to end it, you can end it there.
Yes, I'll end it right now, and it'll be open for, after open for questions as the commission has them.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, at this point, we'll turn it over to the commissioners for discussion and questions on the item. Commissioner Fernandez?
Yeah, I just want to question the areas that you're allowing the ADUs. It seemed like the properties with the higher property value are being excluded from the ADU permitted areas. And usually when they're worth more, they probably have more driveway space and more space in the building. So I just want to know why, if we're going to do this, just do it citywide. Why are we isolating Central Tampa?
Well, when we were looking at where they would be allowed, a lot of it had to do with the coastal high hazard area and increasing density in the CHHA. If you can put them.
What about New Tampa?
New Tampa is basically controlled most of New Tampa is PDs and PDAs. So those developments are going to be, and a lot of them have strong HOAs and development and deed restrictions that are not going to allow that use anyway, regardless of what the city would allow.
Yeah, but that's up to associations to decide that.
That is correct. I don't know if,
Stephen Benson, yes, it is, and that's why we felt it was not wise to include that as a first step. And we've offered to work with Councilman Vieira to meet with associations up there to explain and have that conversation with them. But because it's already essentially preempted by the associations, and we're already having a hard enough time to get consensus around just a first step forward, this was staff's recommendation based upon that limitation. I did also want to point out that Hyde Park is included. So we did not, purposefully look to exclude certain areas and not include others, as well as the entire south of Gandy is excluded. So, the socio-demographic and the property value concern, we acknowledge it, but that was not the reason behind why the areas were selected, and it isn't a 100% correlation.
Okay, I just, at the map I saw, I thought it stopped at Kennedy there. And, I just also say that because Seminole Heights, there's no curbs, there's no sidewalks. I could see how on-street parking can be a little bit of a mess. And now it's already happening, but then I think of my old neighborhood in South Tampa. We weren't in the coastal high hazard area. We had plenty of street parking and the houses were really large. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Fernandez. Commissioner Kress?
I wonder why the off-street parking requirement is put in place. I know you're limiting it to under 600 square feet, so I'm guessing that you are assuming maybe more than one person would live there, and then the odds that they would have a car. But why couldn't on-street parking, residential parking just kind of meet that need? It just feels like you'd be precluding a lot of potential ADUs by making them also build in some place to park. And I think the whole point of doing this is affordable housing and accommodating all the density that we're going to be expecting to the Tampa Bay area.
well, the reason for the 600, you're correct, Eric Cotton, City of Tampa, the reason for the 600 is what you just indicated. We're assuming 600 or less, one person, one car. When we go above the 600, because the maximum size will be 950 square feet, we're thinking possibly two residents, so two cars. So if there's additional residences or two cars, they would have to have the off-street parking. It's more to try to adjust what's the impact on the neighborhoods having additional parking on the street, and how that will impact, and how that will impact the individual neighborhoods with the additional, possible additional, 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars, that could result of an ADU.
So there's a lot of neighbors that complain about people parking on the street? Is that what you're saying?
I have talked to someone in the Hyde Park Historic District who has expressed a lot of concern over ADUs. He had indicated he was going to be here today, but obviously he's not. He might be at the city council meeting for that very concern of the additional parking, because in his mind, he has 4 cars in his house. He says him, his wife, and 2 children, and now we're going to be throwing in his kids park in the street because quicker getaway, I guess, from the parents. I'm not quite sure why, but the logic is they don't want. His concern is you're going to throw another car, possibly on a block of 10. If everybody had an ADU, 10 more vehicles on the street.
I mean, isn't that what you do when you live in a big city? I don't know. It just seems a little short-sighted to me, especially if we're trying to build housing that's affordable. So.
Understood.
Just wanted to add 2 more things. The 600 square feet is the maximum size for an extended family residence. And extended family residences currently do not require any parking at all. And they're allowed citywide. So that's another parallel where that number came from. And then just generally, one of the things we were trying to do is listen to what the community was asking to do with ADUs and what they wanted them to look like and be. And one of those big ideas that really is pretty obvious if you think about it are 2-car garage apartments. These are probably going to be looking like tiny homes and garage apartments. And the 2-car garage apartment is about 500 square feet in size, even though technically we allow ADUs up to 950. So by saying we're not going to require extra parking, if you're meeting this sort of typology, that also fit into this logic of, okay, where should we draw the line and require parking so that we're not totally giving away everything, but then still provide some relief, again, for those situations where people are really asking to be able to provide this type of housing solution in existing neighborhoods without dramatically altering the character of a neighborhood. This is like the only solution out there that does that.
Commissioner Louk.
Yes, with respect to dramatically altering the character of the existing neighborhoods, one of the objectives that's called out here is maintaining the stability of existing areas while expanding opportunities for housing choices. Can you speak to what it would look like if I'm a developer and I come in the existing residential 1 area and I want to tear down what's there and build a multifamily and call it a smaller unit? So is this going to open the door for duplexes in single-family areas and from a by right standpoint? Can you speak to that?
ERCOT Development, or City of Tampa, no, it won't create the ability to do duplexes. It will still be a single-family residential neighborhood. This will be a single-family residence as the primary use. And in the rear could be a 600 square foot rental unit.
So there are restrictions in place where if I came in with a 4,000 or 2,000 square foot primary dwelling and I said I want to put an ADU on this with a 2,000 auxiliary dwelling, they're connected, and called it an ADU, I wouldn't be able to do that. It's codified that, and the language is written that way.
The second part is, so accessory structures, which are a separate part of the code, are limited to 15% of the zoning district you're in. So RS 50, 5,000 square foot lot, the largest accessory structure you can have is 750.
Okay.
As you go up, it's RS 60, 900 square feet. So there's still those limitations that still apply for accessory structures.
And second question, in terms of the 600 square foot parking requirement, can you walk one more time through the methodology and how we got there? It feels a little bit willy-nilly. Or are we thinking we're going to have more than 2 people living in 600 square feet, causing a second vehicle to be there, and that's why we're asking for it? What was the thought process behind it?
Well, the 600 square feet is currently codified for extended family residences. And as Stephen was indicating, they don't require parking right now. So that's your typical mother-in-law suite. Your mother can't live on her own anymore, but she wants to have her independence. You build an accessory structure in the back, she moves back there. She doesn't, that structure, maximum size 600 square feet does not require parking anyway, anywhere. Anyway, right now. So what we're doing is proposing the same logic for an accessory dwelling unit. If it's 600 square feet or less, it would not require parking, just because it's the same, very similar use, similar massing and scale and such on the property.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Commissioner Bowden.
What is the maximum number of cars at the 950 square feet?
The city does not have maximums when it comes to parking. So a typical dwelling unit requires 2 parking spaces, off-street parking spaces for a single-family home. There's no maximum. If you have 20 cars, because you have a super large family, you have to find a place to park those 20 cars. But by code, you're only required to have 2 spaces, which are typically in the garage or in the driveway.
Because I'm listening to you at, 950 square feet, and you said it could be 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means that someone could have in their backyard, like a used car, when you start thinking about it.
Right. Those are always concerns, and the city understands that a lot of it becomes enforcement issues. The concern that was expressed, what you're alluding to, was expressed to me by a member of the Hyde Park community. He was saying, like, right at his house right now, he already has 4 cars there, even though by code he's only required to have 2. So depending upon how the layout of the existing lot is, depends upon where they can park those vehicles, if they can park them on site or they have to park them in the street.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Commissioner Bernstein. Sorry.
Yeah, just one more comment or observation on the parking side. And I know that any number you arrive at is going to be arbitrary by definition. You have to settle on something if that's the objective. But, I want to echo what I think are Commissioner Kress's sentiments a bit. It feels to me like we're perpetuating living in the past to the extent that we're compelling some minimum form of parking availability at a time when we've had before this commission some vigorous discussion about the need to move in a different direction on the commercial side. I think right in the downtown core, Commissioner Kress, we've talked about relaxing some requirements for development so that our commercial developers don't feel an obligation to put in parking that ultimately may prove less and less necessary as our citizenship evolves and hopefully becomes, in a perfect world, less car-centric than they are today. And so I'm troubled a little bit by that notion that a mother-in-law suite, so to speak, of 600 or less square feet may not trigger a parking obligation, but 601 feet will. And, again, I get the fact that we've got to draw the line somewhere, but I worry a little bit that maybe we're drawing the line a little too far down on that spectrum. And so I just wanted to raise that concern.
Okay.
Commissioner Kress.
Thank you, Commissioner Bernstein, for much more eloquently saying what I was trying to get across. And I suppose that people in the neighborhood, like your Hyde Park guy, who's not always going to have 2 kids living at home and have 4 cars to manage, I think their concern is that these parked cars get in the way. So from a Vision Zero perspective, that sounds like a good thing to me because they're forced to drive slower. So I'm just not a fan of requiring any kind of parking with this. I think it might hurt the affordability of it. But I support ADUs overall.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Cardenas, sorry.
I've got 2 questions. One, 15-foot height requirement. Part of what you mentioned was a garage unit with, an ADU above it. That's over 15 feet. Questions on that?
Well, that's currently currently section 27290, which is the accessory structure code section. That's the height limitation right now, unless you're in a local or national historic district, then you can go up, or you can seek a variance for the additional height.
So you can't, in another area, you can't build a garage with an with an ADU above it?
You can if you meet principal structure setbacks. If you're meeting accessory structure setbacks, which are usually 3 feet and 3 feet,
Got it.
you have to meet the 15-foot limitation.
Okay. I think I'm actually kind of torn a little bit on what you guys have been discussing about parking, just mainly because as a realtor, I've seen homes or properties where they've taken that one property and have seen it turned into a place where 5 different individual people are renting it out. And that could be a slippery slope when you add an ADU. 900 square feet, you can put 4 people in 900 square feet, 5 people in 900 square feet. It just depends, depends what and where. So I can't say I'm totally against some limits, but.
Thank you, Commissioner Cardenas. All good points. Are there any more comments, questions, or discussions? See Commissioner Sari moving.
I had a question you mentioned on the research part, like we talked to a couple of cities, St. Petersburg, Orlando, and Long Beach. But there are a lot of cities in Northeast which are actually using ADUs, like state of Virginia, Maryland, they're very popular with that. So was there a reason why we picked Long Beach compared to other cities, or?
They were similar to us, specifically from the standpoint of what is Tampa likely going to evolve into over the next 20 years. So they were about the same land area, but almost double the density.
Okay.
So, I mean, double the density is a lot, but we were trying to find a city that maybe was like 20 years ahead of us, that maybe has experienced issues that we're going to see in 20 years, and then talk through it with them. The advice that they provided was in a different universe because California treats this completely differently, and it's already been preempted by the state and mandated. And I mean, Eric was on the phone with them too, and they had a lot of feedback, but none of it was, we wish we hadn't done it. I don't know if you.
That is correct.
Okay. And one more thing to add to Commissioner Fernandez's comments earlier about certain areas like New Tampa being removed, and you mentioned it's because of the HOAs, the strong HOAs over there. But at the same time, there are a lot of large acre units that are actually located in New Tampa area or further north of that part of the. So would it be something that can be considered down the road, or how would that work out?
Yeah, I mean, this is almost like a pilot program. The three that we've chosen, we receive feedback that the planning areas that we've looked at is where growth is expected to be, where we're going to be encouraging growth, more so than in New Tampa is suburban.
Okay.
South Tampa has, I don't know, let's put it this way, but more opposition to more intensification of development. So, but East and West Tampa and Central Tampa are encouraged to have expanded density over the next 25, 30 years.
Okay.
That's where the ADUs came in.
All right. Thank you.
Right. I did have one question building also on what they were talking about what was put in and removed. The two specifics that you stood on were the HOAs, the PDs that go on up in New Tampa, then the coastal high hazard area. Coastal high hazard area is something we're about to delve deeply into over the next couple months. You might want to talk to Mrs. Ornita about that in your regular meetings. In the city of Tampa, is there a requirement to not build in the coastal high hazard area, exclusively to not build in the coastal high hazard area?
In the zoning code, no.
Okay, so there's a suggestion, and it's encouraged to develop in areas outside of the coastal high hazard area, but there's no requirement that says there is no development to occur going forward in the coastal high hazard area. Am I correct there, or am I?
In chapter 27, that is correct, which is the zoning code.
Okay, so my question is then, why was coastal high hazard area used as a reason to not allow people to have access to these ADUs? I mean, they could just build them in ways that are safe and cost more, but we didn't take that route. You just excluded them whole cloth. Why?
So, and just to get a little bit more specific, we are actively studying the coastal high hazard area. And so since over 70% of the South Tampa Planning District, it's the only one that's 70% CHHA, but since over 70% is CHHA, and we're actively studying the CHHA, and we expect that some of those outcomes from the study will provide recommendations for coastal area development and design standards, we felt like it wasn't the first step. And I don't mean to digress at all, but I do just want to point out, we are not proposing to remove South Tampa and New Tampa. We're just proposing that those not be the first areas that we open this up to today. This exact kind of conversation happened at City Council, and because of it, we agreed that in a year, we're going to come back with a report and give a status update on how it's working. We're getting about 10 permits per year in Seminole Heights and 4% of the city. If you extrapolate that out, we'll get 150. a year from now. That's 150 citywide. So we do not anticipate this being a proliferation of thousands of ADUs over the next 12 months. But we'll be happy to come and present an update and let you know how it's going and what other, lessons learned we have after a year, because we did commit to do that with council.
That's a good mea culpa on your lack of knowledge on the coastal high hazard area and the fact that you're studying it. But again, that doesn't seem like good reason to not allow our citizens to have something. A year from now, you might find out that they should have had it, and then you're going to be doing another mea culpa like, oh, we should have put it in there. Now, do the study, and then if the study says they're not supposed to be there, don't put it there. It goes back to what Commissioner Fernandez, Commissioner Soria were talking about, and other commissioners. It just feels willy-nilly right now. It feels really unsure and really haphazardly being done. And to say you're only putting it here and not allowing certain people to have it, I mean, it would seem like we'd want to be really sure that the people we're not allowing and who we are allowing to are really appropriate, and it doesn't seem like that level of detail has been done. So you will not get my support on this, and that's just me as one vote. So that's all I have to say on that, and I'll turn it back over to the rest of my commissioners for comments on this item. Questions from any of the commissioners? Commissioner Fernandez.
Yeah, I just want to agree with you on that. There should really be citywide. I've said that before, and I'm sorry if this was already asked, but in areas or if a residence doesn't even have a driveway right now, obviously they might have cars. Are they going to be required to add a space for the ADU? So I know there's homes in the Tampa Heights and Seminole Heights area without a driveway at all, but obviously maybe somebody in that house owns a car. So would they have to add a driveway to have an ADU?
Well, under just the standard development regulations, if they do an expansion or an addition on their property, they have to comply with code. So they would be required to provide the driveway at that point.
Thank you.
Ms. Zornita.
Sure. Thank you. I just wanted to mention that Planning Commission staff did interact with the city staff on this issue. As you know, we've had a lot of discussions about the coastal high hazard area and the policy language in the comprehensive plan that talks about no net increase in the coastal high hazard area. It allows for density under the land use category that's adopted. But as you'll see in a number of our recommendations, even tonight, we have not supported increases in density in the coastal high hazard area. And therefore, we thought that the approach that was taken by city staff to wait until the coastal high hazard area study and those policies were updated was a prudent approach. So I just wanted to provide that context.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Bernstein.
Yeah, and maybe just following up, just for the sake of the status quo and where we are today, heading into this presentation, if I understand it correctly, looking at table 4-1, as we sit here, ADUs are already confined, but they're confined in a way that one at least could arguably say is he appears to be even more gerrymandered than what you're proposing. And I don't know if either of you, it's not your job to defend the status quo, but if you can comment on how we got there, because just on my limited knowledge of geography, I'm looking at language that currently says it's limited to the area of the city north of Sly, south of Waters, west of Boulevard, and east of Armenia, which can't be a huge footprint and sounds about as arbitrary as you can get. Can you comment at all on how we got to that?
Eric Cotton, City of Tampa, for that specific area, basically Lowry Park Central area. That was a privately initiated text amendment back in there, like I said, in the early 2000s. A lady who lived there wanted one. She couldn't have one, so she amended the code to allow for it. Okay. That's how we got to where we are for that area.
That's interesting. Okay, thanks. It's not it doesn't make it all more satisfying, but I guess it's an answer.
Thank you, Commissioner Burns. I was wondering about that at the first map, too. I was like, well, that map's awful. And then you showed yours, and I was like, oh, that's a step in the right direction. I was wondering the same thing. Commissioner Louk.
Thank you. I, too, have concerns with the limited geographic rollout of this. I'm a fan and proponent of ADUs. I think it's a solution to what ails us as a city and as a county, and I can support it, but I agree with Chairman Joseph. I'm not going to support it in the limited rollout that it's in. So I would ask that, I'll just end my comments here and we can vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Louk. I should say on my own behalf also that I do support dwelling units as a general. I understand where you're coming from, Mr. Benson. You know me. You know, I'm planner at heart. I get it, but it just feels like it needs a little bit more to me. And I understand there are those who argue, well, let's get something in there and have it in there, and then we'll do something in the future. But I tend not to be one of those. I like to try and get it right as best as possible to not hurt people. So let it not be said that I don't like dwelling units. I fully support accessory dwelling units everywhere. So, Sure, Louk.
So the limitation on New Tampa, I think, is a prime example. If I'm a new developer and I roll out a new development, a residential one development, I'm precluded from adding ADUs in the initial rollout with the way we're currently constructing this, correct? Or as a new developer without HOA restrictions, I could go ahead and provide those in the initial plan and have it rolled out.
If you, Eric Cotton, City of Tampa, if you were coming in for a raw piece of land and you are going to be proposing, because of the way New Tampa has been developed, which is generally, there's no Euclidean or standard zoning districts, everything is a PD, you could present to City Council single-family home in front and an ADU on in back for every single one of your lots, assuming it doesn't exceed the density that's required under the comp plan. You would have that option. Someone in South Tampa would have that same option right now. If they came in and their land use would support 2 units per, they would allow for the density, they could come in with a PD and show a subdivision of 50 lots with ADUs on each lot. They'd still be allowed to apply for that. It would still be up to City Council and to make that final determination of whether they're going to approve it or not, but somebody could definitely apply for that.
Okay.
Are there any more questions or comments, discussion items from the commissioners? All right, going once, going twice. I'm not seeing any lights, so then I will go on ahead and close public comment on this item and open it up to the commissioners for motions on this item this time. Motions. Anyone? All right, well, it doesn't look like I'm getting a motion, Tracy. I don't know if I've ever dealt with this one before. Does it just, what? Are you not going to speak to me now either? Oh, Commissioner Louk.
I have a question. If we were to ask staff to go back, take a look at possibly expanding this, what kind of motion would that take? It sounds like that might be where we are at this point.
So, if you wanted to continue it, we would have to talk with the city staff about what would be involved in, because they've gotten direction from city council to bring forward the amendment in this fashion. And as they described, to work with the folks in New Tampa in one way and work with the folks in South Tampa in another way. So what I might suggest as an alternative would be that if almost regardless of which direction this goes, that perhaps you make a second motion to have a letter accompany your recommendation explaining the concerns about the geographic limitations. Either, if it's found inconsistent, explaining that that was why, or if the will of the Planning Commission is to find it consistent, share with City Council that there was that concern and the Planning Commission is very interested in it being expanded.
Thank you for that. It is City Council's prerogative to make the final decision on these matters. It's not the City of Tampa, City Council's prerogative to make a decision upon this body's timeline. So if you wanted to table it and send it back, I think that we could. So I don't think it's not a vote up or down proposition, and I would refer to Tracy on that question. It's not something we need to vote up or down. We could ask staff to go back and take a look from this body.
Ms. Zernita, I think you were about to address whether when the City Council was going to hear this and what the result of that would be.
Right. I do believe, and well, Eric can probably address when it's going to be. I should mention that there is one other alternative. You could make a motion and recommend an amendment to the language as part of your motion. So you can make a motion that is found consistent with the amendment that it applies citywide. That's another alternative, but I'll let Mr. Cotton address the timeline here.
Yeah. Eric Cotton, City of Tampa. The goal of the city is to have this at first reading on December 1st with tentative adoption December 15th.
So that would allow for it to come back to you all in December, at your December meeting, it would mean that your recommendation would not be in front of council before first reading. It would be before the second reading, and their adoption. But that is something that can occur and has occurred in the past, that the Planning Commission's action has taken place in between first and second reading. But that,
Okay, thank you for that.
Melissa, so you're saying that we could vote for consistency with some caveats? Is that?
sure, you can make a motion to find it consistent with an amendment that it be, applied citywide, for example.
Yeah, my issue is not the geography, my issue is the parking, so maybe I don't know whether we want to separate those or include them together, but.
Sounds like we got a lot of different issues.
You could also take multiple motions. You could find a portion consistent and then a portion, you take them up separately.
I know that a lot of work has gotten into this, and I certainly don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because we got to start somewhere, right? So I think it would be good for council to hear what we have to say, as opposed to just being silent on it. So I'll take a stab at making a motion. Yes. I'll recommend consistency with, I don't know whether I should do one or two caveats right now. I'll make two separate motions. Recommending consistency with the caveat that the plan be applied citywide. And then my other motion will be recommending consistency with the caveat that the city stay silent on the parking requirements. So it's not a maximum, it's not telling them what they need to do, but if they think they can build it without a parking space, then we let them do that.
Okay, so my suggestion would be, if you're open to suggestions.
Yes, of course.
Is that you would be fine, the first motion would apply to section 27-43 and section 27-156, with the caveat that it apply citywide, and then the next motion will apply to the section that relates to parking.
Perfect, thank you.
Actually, the first motion also needs to apply, I think, to section 27-211.8. So we're just taking out the one section that's parking and dealing with it separately.
I'm confused about how this, if both motions were approved, how this gets presented to the city. You would ordinarily have one decision about the matter that you would forward to the city.
Basically, what this one agenda item has done is it has combined four changes, four sections of code are changing. So what Commissioner Kress is asking to do is consider three of them, the definition of the accessory dwelling unit, and then the two sections about where it would apply in the city as one motion, and then do a separate motion on the section of code that relates to the number of off-street parking spaces required.
Why do we need a second motion? If it's both consistent, why don't we do one consistent motion and just list the attachments? 274-43 is consistent citywide, 27-43, 27-156, 27-211.8 are consistent citywide, and then 27- whatever the other number is consistent, no parking. That way they're noted, each numbered item is noted, but the whole thing is consistent. Because otherwise we're doing two consistent motions.
Mr. Chairman, I think that's a far superior
see what I'm saying?
approach.
Well, okay, well, as I read this, wouldn't that mean that the section on off-street parking, if you don't want there to be a standard for it, you would really be finding that section inconsistent.
Okay, then that's a problem. A consistency and an inconsistency flow.
Right, Jennifer, am I, please help.
Yes, Jennifer Malone with the Planning Commission, and Eric can chime in too. I think that when it comes to council, the city sent this to us as one amendment. But when it comes to council, they will be voting on each section separately. So staff can prepare, I know you only have one resolution before you today, but we can go back based on the motion today and prepare a different resolution for each portion of this text amendment. And then 4 resolutions could be transmitted to city council if it's the pleasure of the commission and consistent with legal opinion.
Okay, I'm,
Yeah,
that
I
would be
think that
appropriate.
the real,
Okay.
if it was all consistent, I think the issue is,
There's
if I'm
no
understanding
consistency.
Commissioner Kress right, the one about the off-street parking, you would be finding it inconsistent because you're not in support of it.
That's
Okay.
true. So one at a time. But I don't have any of the numbers in front of me.
Yes.
Nor can I read that, Melissa, so. So we're gonna tag team this. I'm gonna make a motion. She's gonna insert the appropriate numbers, okay?
Yes, thank you. Jennifer Mullen, that was my request, just for staff's purposes, just making it as crystal clear as possible so then we can prepare the resolution with that finding and not have any confusion. Thank you.
Okay, so the first motion for consistency would be the definition of what an ADU is.
2743.
We're gonna stop there. We're doing one at a time, all right?
Sure.
All right, we got a motion of consistency finding for the ADU definitions by Commissioner Cressy. Are we noting this one or not? Is this citywide or there's no note? Okay,
It's just the definition.
Okay.
It doesn't apply.
okay.
Second.
All right, we got a second to that by Commissioner Fernandez. Is there any more comments or discussion of the commissioners on the definition of an ADU being consistent? Not seeing any, then we'll do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes?
Louk?
Yes.
Surya?
Yes.
Joseph?
No.
Motion carried 7-1. Chair Joseph voted no.
Thank you. All right, what's our next one?
Should I keep going?
Yeah, we,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, so, this would also be inconsistent though, right? As far as the areas go? Okay, so the second motion would to be find consistent where the ADUs are allowed, which would be limited to Central Tampa Planning District, West Shore Planning District, and University Planning District, as defined in section 2720. Yes, my motion would be to find consistency with the currently proposed geographic areas.
Okay. We have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Kress for the locations, the geographic locations of the dwelling units as shown in the presentation. So she's finding those consistent. All right, and the second, Commissioner Louk?
Question?
Question.
It sounds like the way the motion is proffered, that it will limit and not expand citywide.
Right,
Correct.
correct.
No second.
Okay. Is there a second? Because that was a question, so is there a second to the consistency finding motion?
Well, I'll second it.
All right, we got a second by Commissioner Fernandez again. All right, are there any comments or questions on this one? Again, we found Commissioner Kress is motioning consistency finding for the location of the dwelling units as they stand in the presentation. Okay. All right, seeing no other comments or questions on this item, then I'll ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
No.
Bowden?
No.
Cardenas?
No.
Fernandez?
No.
Kress?
Yes?
Louk?
No.
Surya?
No.
Joseph?
No.
Motion failed 1-8. Commissioners Bernstein, Bowden, Cardenas, Fernandez, Louk, Soria, and Joseph voted no.
I think that was 1-7.
Correct, 1-7, thank you.
All righty. So that one goes down, and the next, is there a next one? There has to be a next one.
Yeah,
Third
the
part.
parking
Yeah,
spaces,
okay.
right?
If the consistency motion failed, do we need a motion that is affirmative
Oh, yeah,
about our
that's right.
recommendation? So I think we need,
Got to do it again. Yeah,
Okay.
we got to do it again. All right. Back to these locations. We've opened it up again for motions from the commissioners on the locations of the dwelling units. Commissioner Bernstein.
So bear with me for a second while I pull it up on the screen. I would make a motion that, pull it up. With respect to section 27-1.56, note 17. That, trying to frame this properly, we find the proposed text amendment consistent only to the extent that it is modified to reflect no limitations whatsoever on ADU use from a geographic standpoint within the city of Tampa.
Second.
All right, we have a motion, what was that, of consistency finding? Yeah, okay, citywide though, a motion of consistency finding with the revisions that he mentioned to note 17 that make it citywide. Second to that consistency finding by Commissioner Louk. Is there any questions, probably, maybe, questions or comments from the commissioners? No? Not seeing any, then I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein,
Yes.
Bowden,
Yes.
Buzza, excuse me, Cardenas,
Yes.
Fernandez,
Yes.
Kress,
No?
Louk,
Yes.
Soria,
Yes.
Joseph,
No.
motion carried 6-2. Commissioners Kress and Joseph voted no.
Thank you. All right, and we do have one more, yes, the
there
parking.
are 2 more parts to this one
Okay.
now.
Oh, 2, okay.
Yeah. There's this section, and, yeah.
Touchscreen.
Yes.
Okay, so you think we need to separate this? Okay, so, whoops.
It's dying, sorry.
Sorry, the computer just died. Of all weeks for me to forget my iPad.
Need to forget my computer cord.
If someone else would like to make a motion, you can, but I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I was, again, it's clear that my issue is to stay silent on the parking. So I'd like to make a motion of consistency with the 600, no, I think it would be inconsistent, though.
No, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Inconsistency because of the, you don't like the parking.
Right, okay, so, and that's section 27176, I think it's still, oh, 27283-7, number of off-street parking spaces. I'm sorry, I don't have policies in the comp plan to support my inconsistency finding, but I'm sure there's plenty in there that would, that I'm going to just ask for the code to stay silent on whether or not parking is required, regardless of the number of square feet the ADU is. Uh-oh, Jennifer's here.
No, it's okay. Jennifer Malone with the Planning Commission. I think that city staff, to make this as clear as possible, instead of the motion stating stay silent, if it was 0.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we do have a policy in the plan that you could reference regarding shared parking concepts. So that might be one that the plan supports, shared parking for different types of uses in the city. So that might help your consistency finding.
I'm comfortable with all of those revisions. Thank you, Jennifer.
Do we have a number for that policy by chance? No?
It's in the 15s. I can try and look it up real quick.
Okay. Shared parking. Okay. So I have a motion of inconsistency by Commissioner Kress, and she wants that motion with a note that the parking should be zeroed. And we want to reference policy 15 on shared parking as her grounds reasoning. You got it? As her reasoning for the inconsistency finding, because obviously she's going against staff's consistency recommendation.
Thanks for restating that.
Yeah, I got to take
You
mad
got
notes
it.
over here.
Yep.
I got like crazy. All right. So is there that's a motion, all right? Is there a second to commissioners?
I can just add that I would say it's objective 15.3 and the supporting policies.
Okay.
'Cause there's a bunch on parking.
All right. So we have a motion of inconsistency finding by Commissioner Kress, a second to her motion by Commissioner Bowden. Is there any question, any comments? Anybody need any more clarification before I turn this over? Yes, Commissioner Suri.
On the inconsistency, we mentioned it's going to be 0, but if there's an ADU which is very large, would that disregard them from having any parking in that case, or that's something it will just go back into discussion?
I'd like to clarify, and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not saying you can't build parking, it's just not making you build the parking if you don't feel you need it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
Okay. Are there any more questions or clarifications? No? Okay. Before I turn it over again, remember this is an inconsistency finding on the parking. So with that, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote on this item.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes?
Louk?
Yes.
Zaria?
Yes.
Joseph?
No.
Motion carried 7-1. Chair Joseph voted no.
Thank you. All right. One more, I hope.
The last piece of this is a change to allow, it's 27-211.8, which is a table of permitted uses related to the Seminole Heights districts, and it takes it from being a special use to a permitted use. Right? Maybe I said that wrong.
This is just because in the general use table, it applies to all the Euclidean districts. We're taking away the special use permit and you can build it by right. So it doesn't make sense to leave the special use permit requirement in Seminole Heights. We're making Seminole Heights consistent with the rest of the city. That's what that change is.
Okay, so I will move for consistency I'm sorry, I don't remember the number you just spouted off, to level the, well, not even level the playing field, not even level the playing field, just make treat Seminole Heights like the rest of the places where ADUs are allowed.
All right, we have a motion of consistency finding by Commissioner Kress.
Second.
And a second to that motion by Commissioner Fernandez. Are there any more questions, comments, discussions from the commissioners, clarifications? Not seeing any at this time, I will ask the clerk to go ahead and do a roll call vote.
Bernstein?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
Cardenas?
Yes.
Fernandez?
Yes.
Kress?
Yes?
Louk?
Yes.
Surya?
Yes.
Joseph?
No.
Motion carried 7-1. Chair Joseph voted no.
Thank you. All right, I think that, I hope, wraps that one up. Thank you all. Thank you for the City of Tampa representatives who were here. Thank you for your time. And we will move on to our briefings and presentations. And we will start with Plant City, A1, PCCPA 22-11, Future Land Use Map Amendment, north of North Frontage Road and west of Charlie Taylor Road. And the presenter is Mark Hudson.
Good afternoon, Planning Commissioners, Mark Hudson, Planning Commission staff. Before I begin the briefing on this particular plan amendment, I wanted to note on your agenda, later there's Plan Amendment PCCPA 22-14. That has been voluntarily withdrawn by the applicant, so we weren't prepared to make a presentation to you on that plan amendment this evening. Also, Plan Amendment PCCPA 22-15. It's come to light that there's some information that needs to be updated and to allow our reviewing agencies to take more time to give us feedback to allow us to make a thorough report and bring that back to you. So that has been continued to the December 1st cycle for the City of Plant City. So there's no need to give a briefing on that plan amendment either this afternoon. So with that, I'll give the briefing on the 3 Plant City plan amendments that remain. There were 5 submitted in total this cycle. The first is, as the chairman said, PCCPA 22-11. This shows you the location of this plan amendment on Plant City's vision map. It's up in the northeastern quadrant. More specifically, it's north of North Frontage Road, east of North Waller Road, south of Mayday Road, and west of Charlie Taylor Road. This shows you the plan amendment site that's affected by this request, surrounded by the lavender dashed line. It's very small, coming in at just over ½ an acre. You can see its close proximity to the interstate system and, of course, North Frontage Road. It is privately initiated by the fact of its small size. It is a small-scale plan amendment. The current land use is Hillsborough County Residential 1. It has completed the annexation process into the municipality. The applicant is requesting Plant City Light Commercial Office. This shows you the area affected by the plan amendment surrounded by the dark dashed line. You can see it's currently on my screen is a white color, which shows it's a transitional area. However, it does still retain the Hillsborough County Residential 1 plan category today. And this shows you how that would change if it was approved by Plant City Commission to that light pink-red color, showing the light commercial office plan category. So what are the potential impacts? Currently, the 1 dwelling unit could be built on site. It is our understanding that it does not currently meet locational criteria in the county. If it did, it would allow up to 30,000 square feet of rural-scale neighborhood commercial development. However, it is our standing today, it does not. If it was approved by the Plant City Commission, consideration could be given of 5 dwelling units or almost 9,000 square feet of light commercial office uses. We're going to be coming back to you on December 12th to garner your thoughts and recommendation on this plan amendment. We'll be doing the same with the Plant City Planning Board on December 28th. We have yet to schedule an adoption hearing in front of City Commission. That will be dependent on when the corresponding rezoning is ready, also to be heard by the Planning Commission. The City Commission. And with that, that completes my briefing presentation. Stand for any questions.
Are there any questions or comments from the commissioners on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll ask you to continue on with the presentations.
The next one is PCCPA 22-12.
Again, this is the northeast quadrant, very close to the previous one. North of North Frontage Road, east of North Wilder Road, south of Dan Kendrick Road, and west of Charlie Taylor Road. This shows you the site that's affected, surrounded by the lavender dashed line. The applicant actually owns the property to the south as well. His interest in his application states that he wants to utilize this property to fully garner the entitlements on that property to the south, and utilizing this one potentially for retention and detention purposes for stormwater. You can also see that is in close proximity to a residential neighborhood just to the west, and to the east are agricultural lands. Again, it's privately initiated. Even though it's a bit larger than the previous one, it's still a small-scale plan amendment, coming in at about 9.2 acres. It has a Hillsborough County Residential and Plan category. It has completed the annexation process. And unlike the last one, the applicant is asking for Plant City Commercial versus the light commercial office. So those uses are a little bit more intense than the previous plan amendment. This shows you the site today. It's surrounded by the dark dashed line. Again, some of the property in this area is jurisdictional wetlands, so it won't be able to be fully utilized for commercial uses, but that's the applicant's intent to utilize this with the property to the south to develop a new commercial development within the city. Again, you can see the neighborhood that is directly to the west and the agricultural uses to the east. And this shows you how it would change if it was ultimately approved by the Plant City Commission based on the applicant's request to that red color designating commercial. So what are the potential development? Currently, they could build 4 dwelling units on it. Again, there's potential for, in this plan category, rural scale neighborhood commercial development. However, it does, our understanding, it does not currently meet those locational requirements. In Plant City, if this was approved, it could be considered for up to 29 dwelling units or 60,000 almost 61,000 square feet of commercial office uses. And that's a 0.35 FAR. It's on the same timeline as the previous one. We're going to come back before you and give you our recommendation on December 12th and for you to determine a consistency finding. The same will occur with the Plant City Planning Board at City Hall at 8:30 in the morning on December 28th. And the adoption hearing with the City Commission is yet to be determined based on the processing of the corresponding rezoning. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Any questions from the commissioners or comments on this item? Not seeing any at this time. We will ask you to continue on with the next one.
So the last one that's still being processed this cycle for the City of Plant City is 22-13. This is another plan amendment located in the northeast quadrant, south of South Frontage Road, east of North Wilder Avenue, north of East Baker Street, which is also US 92, and west of Sun King Road. This shows you the property. It currently has a Hillsborough County Residential and Plan category. A lot of the property is part of a retention pond that not only serves this property, but those multifamily uses to the north. The applicant's request is to build 1 single-family home on this site. It is privately initiated, small-scale plan amendment of about 6 acres, has a Hillsborough County Residential 1 Plan category, and the applicant has requested Hillsborough County Residential 4. And this shows you the plan category as it stands today with that Hillsborough County Residential 1 land use. You can see the plan category of residential 12 to the north. To the south is mixed-use residential commercial. Many of you may have traveled I-4 and seen the large city furniture warehouse as you go out to Orlando. That is that location for that large distribution warehouse. To the east and to the south are suburban and rural residential development. And this shows you how that would change if it was approved by the Plant City Commission as residential 4. What are the potential build out? Currently, you could have 3 dwelling units. Again, this doesn't meet the locational criteria for the county, but we supplied that number just in case that occurred in the future and that definition was changed. In the city, it could have up to 12 dwelling units. It doesn't meet the locational for public or semi-public uses, but if that changed in the future, it would allow up to 35,000 square feet of such uses. It would not allow commercial or office uses. This is on the same timeline as the previous two. To be brought back before you on December 12th, to the planning board on December 28th, and we'll be re-notifying the adjacent property owners and placing signage to ensure that everyone knows the adoption hearing with the city commission when that date is established. And with that, I stand for any questions.
Are there any questions or comments, discussions on this item from the commissioners? Not seeing any. We will thank you for the presentations, Mr. Hudson. And move on to our next item on the agenda, 5B TT CPA 22-01 Future Land Use Map Amendment. And it's Mr. Hudson again.
It is. We received one plan amendment for the city of Temple Terrace, and Temple Terrace and Plant City's plan amendment cycles sync up. And it's TT CPA 22-01. This shows you the location of the property. The applicant is in the process of voluntarily annexing this into the municipality. It's located east of North 56th Street, north of East Fowler Avenue, west of North 58th Street, and south of East 122nd Avenue. And this shows you the property that is affected by this, surrounded by the lavender dashed line. The applicant's application says he wishes to utilize this, similar to some of the previous ones in Plant City, for additional parking and stormwater to support the commercial use already established to the west along North 56th Street. It's privately initiated, small scale, coming in at under an acre. And essentially, it is down planning from Hillsborough County Residential 20 to Temple Terrace Residential 18. This shows you the adopted land use with the brown color of Hillsborough County Residential 20, and you can see the Temple Terrace commercial areas to the west and to the south in red. And this shows you how that would change if it was approved by Temple Terrace City Council to Residential 18. As I mentioned, this is essentially down planning this property. Currently, you could have 16 dwelling units on it. That would be reduced to 15. And currently, you could propose 27,000 square feet of non-residential uses at a 0.75 floor area ratio, and that would be reduced to about 12,000 square feet at a 0.35 floor area ratio. The applicant has a conflict. We would typically bring this back to you on December 12th, but the applicant had a conflict with a meeting, I should say the applicant's agent had a conflict with the meeting with the Board of County Commissioners. So they requested a 1-month continuance to your January 9th hearing, and based on your schedule and the plan amendments we anticipate on January 9th, we're able to grant that 1-month continuation. So I would be back to present that to you on January 9th, and the City Council hearing is yet to be scheduled. And with that, I stand in for any questions.
All right, were there any questions from the commissioners or comments on this item? Not seeing any, well, thank you for the information.
See you next month.
All right, and move on to our next item of business, 5C, Section 27-241E2C5, Tampa Land Development Code, Text Amendment, Residential Vehicular Access in the West Tampa Overlay, and the presenter is Jennifer Malone.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jennifer Malone. This is just a briefing on a code amendment that's going to come before you next month. I'm going to turn it over to Stephen Benson to give an overview of the amendment and answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Stephen Benson, City of Tampa. This code amendment was proposed by the West Tampa CRA, CAC, and they moved at their June meeting to move the amendment forward for consideration under a unanimous vote. The purpose of the amendment is to address some of the issues that have been arising with regard to the West Tampa overlay. The West Tampa overlay exists to preserve and promote the predominant historic development pattern in West Tampa. And the purpose of the district is to ensure that new development that's constructed and brought into the district is consistent with the development that's already there. So about a year and a half ago, City Council processed a text amendment that was brought forward by the CAC to require that all new residential development that is built in the overlay provide vehicular access only from the alley, unless an existing driveway already existed, because that is the predominant development pattern of West Tampa. The amendment did not address situations or what to do if that requirement was waived. So if a property owner requested to, from city council, a waiver for that requirement, and providing access from the street, there is no limitation on the size or the spacing of the driveway they're providing. So council will approve, or rather Eric, who's no longer here, would approve the design exception or not approve it. It would get appealed, go to council, and the council would overturn it. And then fast forward a year and a half, we're getting complaints and concerns about a proliferation of double-car driveways in Old West Tampa, which isn't consistent with the historic development pattern. So the purpose of this amendment is to address situations where council deems it necessary to waive that code provision for whatever reason, be it that the alley is not usable, it's not navigable, it hasn't been improved, but it actually still exists technically on paper, and limit for lots that are standard size, the size of the driveway to a single car width wide. If you have a double lot, then you could get a double driveway. But if you're a single lot, up to the size of a double lot, then you would only be allowed a single driveway. And then if you would like to waive that, then you have to apply for another design exception to council, if that's your choice to do. But it provides an additional layer of protection to preserve the intent of the overlay, and that is the purpose of the amendment, and happy to answer any questions about it.
All right, well explained. Thank you, by the way. Are there any questions on that item? Comments from commissioners? Not seeing any. Well, thank you for the information. All right, and move on to our next item on the agenda. 6, our executive director's report.
Good afternoon, Melissa Zornita, Executive Director. On Friday, it was sent out to you, the listing of activities that have been going on. A couple that I wanted to highlight. On October 13th, the Board of County Commissioners had a plan amendment public hearing. They adopted the updated housing element. They transmitted to the state the text amendments related to gopher tortoise and significant wildlife habitat, and the text amendment that removed the wellhead map that's apparently the worst offending map. They denied the text amendment that was requesting an alteration to the corridor preservation map in the Apollo Beach area. And they denied a map amendment increasing density in the rural area to 2 dwelling units per acre on Williams Road. They sent back to staff for some more work the island recreation land use category, and specifically asked that the private owner come forward with their map change and zoning change concurrent with the text amendment. Essentially, they were not comfortable with some of the uses that were proposed, and wanted something more akin to our natural preservation land use category. But that has some specific requirements about conservation easements and things like that that would not work for a private applicant. So we're going to continue working on that. I did have the opportunity to meet with the newly elected county commissioner for District 4, Michael Owen. He came to the office. We had the David Hay and Sean College and myself had an opportunity to introduce the agency and what the land use map, things like that are to him. We also went out to Temple Terrace to meet with their new city manager, Carlos Bahia, and had a good meeting out there as well. With that, a couple of items related to upcoming meetings. The next meeting goes back to the second Monday. It's December 12th. We'll have the regular meeting and public hearings on the Plant City amendments, as well as a couple of county items. The county CIE got moved from this hearing to the next hearing. And we also will have the commercial locational criteria amendment. You all hope, some of you all will remember that one. So you should have gotten emails from Sharon offering briefings for the commercial locational criteria. We've done quite a bit of work with the public and in some additional stakeholder meetings. So we have our consultant, as you approved the addition to their contract, available for those briefings. So if anyone would be interested in taking us up on that offer, we would encourage that. And then I did want to address the item that I had attached to the agenda related to the attendance policy. Just as this is the beginning of a new fiscal year, new year with elected officers, that it was a good opportunity to bring up the attendance policy, which speaks to a maximum of 3 absences or unexcused absences, and wanted to make sure that myself and the chair were implementing the excused, not excused rule appropriately. So the bylaws speak to giving advance notice, which I very much appreciate you all do. And it basically leaves it hands it to me to notify the chair, who can excuse the absence. But there's not a lot more to what constitutes an excuse. I think myself and Chair Joseph have, if we've been notified in advance, it counts as excused. That's how we've been handling it, but wanted to take this opportunity to make sure that was consistent with how you all felt that should be handled. And I don't know if the chair has anything else he wants to add on that.
Yeah, I would just add that really what we're looking for is to try and get more communication to avoid a couple situations like we had earlier this year when we were struggling to get a quorum or had to cancel a meeting, right? So, I mean, just let's all be communicative and try and keep open lines of communication. If you're not going to be here, obviously things happen. Commissioner Buzzard's not here now. Things happen. We understand that. But let's definitely keep lines of communication open so that we can at least keep the county's business moving forward here.
And if I believe that Sharon has sent schedulers to everyone for next year's meetings. And we provided the calendar in advance. If there's anything else we can do to assist with making sure you know when the meeting is and that you've got it on your calendar, when we have all of you planning to attend, then when something happens like what happened with Commissioner Buzza, we're not scrambling because we know we're going to have a quorum. So. Great. The last thing I wanted to mention is that we had our Planning and Design Awards. I think that's been 2 weeks now. And it was a great event. I want to thank you all for all of the support on that. The Public Information Committee will be scheduling with Commissioner Kress, our new chair of that committee, a time to have a debrief on the event. But if you have any feedback, myself and Lynn would welcome that if you're able to attend it. And with that, that concludes my report. Any questions?
What's the staff social on here? What was that all about? How did that go?
It went very well. So the staff has a social committee who organizes morale building events. We actually had a couple of them. That one made the list, but that one was down at the Gen X Tavern, which is down the road. Just after work, an opportunity to get together. We also had a art safari, which was a virtual event, because not everybody's here every day, and some people still aren't super excited about going and socializing. So we had an art safari which had different street murals, and they had to identify where they were. So we do a variety of different things for staff, trying to build
morale.
Yeah.
Cool. What about this Greater Palm River Community Plan update?
Yes, the Board of County Commissioners, a couple of months ago now, requested that we update the Greater Palm River Community Plan. So we had the kickoff with the staff, and our kickoff with the community will be next Tuesday and next Saturday. So we're having 2 kickoff meetings in 2 different parts of the Palm River area, on 2 different days, different times of day, trying to get some initial input from them. This kickoff will do a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats type of analysis, and then we look at most of the additional outreach happening after the first of the year, once we have an idea of the scope of the issues that the community is interested in working on.
Can I ask a question? Because like Balm and Riverview kicked off the community plan thing and actually kicked off the comp plan revision, but have we looked at how many of our community plans have been changed? I keep hearing them pop up every now and then as we go forward, kind of changing and shifting. I'm just wondering if we have we've never intended to do that, but it seems like we've stumbled into it now, so I'm just wondering.
Well, the community plans, the ones that are adopted in the county's comprehensive plan, were always intended to be a shorter, like a mid-range planning document within the longer plan horizon. So around 2010, 2011, the Board of County Commissioners started asking us to update some of the community plans. Lutz, Keystone, the university area were all a part of that first wave of updates. Then the Board of County Commissioners gave us direction to work on some other things, and we'll say. And then we sort of got back to it with the Balm and the Waimama. We did some intermediary planning in Ruskin and in Gibsonton. We did a demographic update for them, and neither one of those communities really said, oh, we need to now update the community plan based on this. When we provided those similar demographics to the Commissioner Myers, who represents Palm River and had been working with the Progress Village community, they wanted to push for an update. Ideally, I believe once we are done updating the comprehensive plan, we would have a more systematic schedule of updates to the community plans. I think it would be most beneficial for us to get the land use element updated, because I think there are a lot of things that are in the community plans that actually an update to the land use element would address, like how commercial is handled along our major thoroughfares would be handled through the update of the commercial locational criteria, for example. So that is something that I think in the coming years we would be seeking from the Board of County Commissioners, is a little bit more clarity about what a work program to update those looks like.
Very cool. All right, I'll shut my mouth now. It's all from me.
Question for you, something caught my ear.
Okay.
With the work remote policy, some days in, some days remote. How's that going? What's the feedback from staff? Do you foresee any changes in the future?
So the most popular question I get asked is, are you going to take that away from us? Right now, staff is in the office 2 to 3 days a week, sometimes more, depending on if they have work and meetings that require them to be here more. I'm here almost all days of the week, but it varies for staff, and what we're finding is they really like that flexibility. Most of the divisions all are in the office together on one of the days that staff, and then they stagger so that we have staff coverage on all areas of that the agency works on any given day in the office. So we have a schedule, and they rotate. Seems to be working pretty well, but I would say that our work lends itself well to writing staff reports and things like that are things that can be done remotely. We have a phone system that's computer, I think it's VoIP is what it's called, so we can answer the phone from anywhere, things like that. So it has worked out pretty well, I think.
Awesome. Is it 2 days in or 3, or is it a 2 to 3
It's a
day flex?
minimum of 2, but I would say that I would say most staff are in here at least 3. That's sort of what I'm finding is kind of the sweet spot that people are
Okay.
doing.
Cool, thanks.
All right, thank you. We will move on to our next item of business now. Item number 7, business. Other business, chair's business, I have none. Old business, anybody have any old business? Lionel? No, you're just up there tinkering. All right, new business. Anybody want to bring up any new business? None at this time. All right, committee reports. Well, Commissioner Powell's not here, so all those committee reports are gone. To you, Commissioner Rodriguez.
I'm just here to say that we had a city Affordable Housing Advisory Committee meeting that was scheduled for October 19th. That was canceled due to lack of quorum. So our next scheduled meeting will be on 16 November. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. And yes, that wraps up all the committee reports, and that is all of our business for this regular meeting. So with that, I will adjourn this meeting at 5:03, and we will see everybody at 5:30 for the public hearings. We'll try to. All right, meeting adjourned.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the meeting for the 5:30 meeting. Thank you all for joining us. We have a couple people we need to check in. I do see we have a caller calling in from 814 with the last two digits 54. Can you hear me? A caller calling in from 814 with the last two digits 5.